Okay, I was a couple minutes late because I was reading the minutes. And,
Sorry.
that's fine. Did anyone have any changes or corrections for the minutes? Or have you had a chance to read them yet?
I just read them over myself. Everything looked as I remember it from 5 months ago.
Yes, exactly. So I move that the minutes be approved from the February 26th. Is that the right date?
Yep.
Yes, yep. I second.
You're the chairman, you can't make that motion.
You can't. You can't make a motion. I make a motion. We accept the minutes from February 26th.
I'll
Second,
second.
third, fourth, fifth. All
Aye.
in favor?
Aye.
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 That
As I was saying it, I remembered that I wasn't supposed to be able to do that. So, oh well, it's been a while. So we've invited Dave, and he's going to chime in and give us an update on what he has so far on the playground. I don't know if everyone's had a chance to go down and take a look.
Looks
Wonderful.
amazing. Yep.
Wonderful.
It's awesome.
Looks so good, Dave.
Can't
Okay,
wait
thank
to
you.
see kids using it.
Yeah. So where we're at, things got a little delayed just because of all this COVID, and the contractors were behind on other jobs, which just caused a bad chain reaction, but we are very close. The fence company is coming back on Monday. So they will start hanging the 10-foot fence along both third base lines, and then the other chain, all the other chain link and the netting. They're thinking it's going to take about 5 days for them to be completed. So by the end, they start Monday. By the end of the week, all the fencing should be done, which will be all the chain link, the fence that is in the perimeter of the outfield, the fence at both ends. So they will be completed. So that'll be good. The other contractor is for the guardrail, and they are telling me they are going to start on the 12th, which is a week from this Friday, is when they're saying they're going to start. And they didn't give me a timeline, but if I remember right, I think it was probably close to a week. So there's almost 1,000 feet of guardrail going in. So basically the guardrail, just so everyone knows, is going to basically surround the entire parking lot. With guardrail, and it's going to be all galvanized guardrail. I had thought about going with wood, just because typically guardrail is, more for safety, and we were kind of using this for the combination of safety and I think it's going to tie it all together nice. However, once they came out and re-looked at it and realized what they had to go through in the parking lot material, they'd have to auger an 18-inch hole for every post if we went with wood, and that's going to have a 3-foot spill out, and it would just make a mess on the whole edge of the parking lot.
Right.
After a discussion I consulted actually with earth removal, because they are paying for it out of their funding, and that's just under a $30,000 bill for the guardrail. So I consulted with them. They said, nope, let's go with the traditional. And the galvanized was more money. So I called the contractor back after I consulted with earth removal. They said, yeah, let's go with the traditional galvanized. It was about $3,000 more. I asked the company if they could honor the price that they gave me. And they said, sure. So they held that price. So, and there'll also be guardrail on the other end of the playground that's near Carver Square Boulevard. So there's going to be guardrail on that whole end as well, just to keep the cars off the grass there. And it'll just help organize the parking. So that'll be done. Other than I need to get the contractor back to hang the swings when we're ready. The other one piece, and if you've been by there recently, kind of the first, when you walk in from behind the police station on the rubber, the first piece of play equipment you come to, which was a combination. It's got kind of a swoosh circular slide and a double slide off the side. We are missing a hood off of the double slide. And basically what the hood does, it makes it so a child has to be seated when they go down the slide. They can't just walk off the platform. It is a safety thing. I've been going back and forth, and one thing I will say I've learned, this is the first parking lot I've done, well, it is the first parking lot I've done in a sense, and also playground is, if I ever do another playground in my career, or if any of you do,
Not a chance. Thank you.
I would advise, and I think it's a good idea if you can repurpose some stuff, but what we ended up repurposing, in my opinion, the time and the effort to try to coordinate marrying old stuff to new stuff was not worth it. We should have just gone with all new. Even though some stuff that we're reusing is in good shape and can be repurposed,
Yeah.
it sounds a lot easier than it is when you're trying to match new. I mean, if you can carry an old piece of equipment and have it 100% and put that in, that's easy. But what we ended up doing was, through the consultant, trying to reuse some slides to some new posts, and that's where the real hang-up came. So there's been some going back and forth. So I do have to order that hood, which is just under $1,000, because the way it was ordered, I guess they didn't send the post that should have matched the old hood, and it's a diary within itself. So the hood does have to be ordered. And I don't know how long that's going to take. I just wanted to let you know that. I'm going to order it on Friday. I'll see what he gives me for a lead time. If the playground is going to open before then, I can blank that off with a piece of plywood. I talked to the consultant, that's fine. So you could still use the circular slide. You just want to be able to use the two off the left side of it when you come up. But everything else will be done as far as the play equipment. Ready to go. He'll come back and hang the swings. I got to add some more sand to the sandbox, and also the ADA, the raised sandbox. We'll make sure there's sand in that. There's a lot of little loose stuff to tie up. Actually, my crew started today just cleaning up the site. There's still a lot of construction debris around the site. That will all be cleaned up. The bathrooms, I actually just got the account open so I can buy directly with Michael Tabaji, who's going to be doing the plumbing, and I'll assist him if he needs a hand. He had gotten me pricing, and the best pricing was through a company we didn't have an account with. So I had to set up the town of Carver with an account with that wholesaler. So now I can buy direct. And the plumbing for the fixtures was about $2,500. So I gave him the go-ahead this morning to go ahead and get the stuff in and, get it. And then we'll set up getting that installed. I'm still working on I'm thinking we're going to put the timed bathroom locks on there that can be programmed. So that's one of the last things I'm working on. So getting back to what my crew's got to complete is all the construction debris cleanup, and the infield mix will be going in starting on Monday. So the rest of the infield mix, which we have yarded over there, will be brought in, and all the infields will be brought up to the proper height. One thing I noticed that was brought to my attention yesterday was, and I don't know about what do we call the field on the left when you're looking at it? Are the minors, and the one on the right is the majors, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So it was brought to my attention on the minor field, and I'm imagining the major is going to be the same. When I bring in the infield mix, the dugout doors that go into the, not the dugout, the on-deck batter cages, those are going to hit. And unfortunately, I think the easiest solution isn't going to be that bad. It's just going to be a little bit of work. Those are welded. The hinges are welded on because they clamp onto the posts, and they can be raised, because I don't want to leave room for the gate to swing, because that's going to be a trip hazard. So I think the gate itself is going to have to be raised, but it's not just loosening 4 bolts and sliding the whole gate up. It's welded. So we're going to have to grind the welds, raise it up, tighten them, and get it re-welded. Not a big deal. I just want to make you aware. But that's a day's work. That's all. And I think that's about it. The irrigation is running. The grass is rooted well. It's growing. We're mowing it regularly now. So a couple questions I had is, we have a garage full of benches, bench slats, out of all of them, which I think there's probably, I did not count from the old playground, all the, the benches that were there that were kind of
Yeah.
there's probably at least a dozen of those. There is one that we have everything for. One complete.
Of course.
Yeah. A lot of it's minimal. It's hardware, it's bolts, it's nuts, it's some brackets. I have enough slats. I could probably open up my own warehouse and sell them for you. Slats, we do not have a shortage of. My question is, how many of those do you want? Does someone want to meet me down there sometime and look at, how many we want to put in? Do you want to look at other type of benches? I know there was talk of picnic tables, which is another discussion, whether you want to go with traditional wood, or Nancy White was there and she gave me a catalog yesterday on, like, there's basically they're metal ones with a rubber coating, where you don't have to worry about, cleanliness as much. I think she said they're about $500 a bench. She hasn't gotten me an exact cost yet.
Is that a bench or a table, Dave?
Well, you can get benches and tables. I have a whole catalog of their stuff. It's called Premier Polysteel. So I think you need to make that decision on, where do we want benches, what type? And the other part of that is, I don't know if you all know, but I ran short on money on this project, and I actually made a plea, if you will, to FinCom, and they transferred $40,000. So I can close out what I have with the fence companies, the general contractor, the company, some of the other subs. So basically, any of these benches, I'm about, that'll have to come out of somewhere else. The 40 I had transferred is going to about, I have that spent down to about a penny.
We
Of
also
course
had
not.
some people donate 4 benches too, so.
Okay, all right.
So the bathrooms would be out of new money, and
No, well, I have the bathrooms figured into that 40K that was transferred.
oh, all right, okay, that's what I was just wondering.
Yep.
And the fences and guardrails, all that stuff. How about
Correct,
hanging
that-
the swings? Would we owe more labor
Nope.
on hanging the swings?
Nope.
Okay.
So the only thing I think left would be
Would
benches, picnic
tables and signs?
Yes.
Is the snack bar our responsibility, or is that something else? I was just wondering.
As far as the condition of it, or?
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't do anything with that. That wasn't, we did do some minor repairs to the dugouts as far as kind of making them weather tight. My maintenance guy did some plywood repair and stuff. And I know, unfortunately, we didn't have the money. The dugouts are, it'd be nice to have everything 100% brand new. We just don't have it to do it.
That may be next year.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we
Yeah.
do, just for the rec committee on the money side of it, we do have a little bit left to do some maintenance to those dugouts and things that we had already voted on and talked about. So we can talk to Adam and get some suggestions, and we do have some money left that was allotted for that we had voted on, so.
And then we just have to have also a discussion, which I think is going to have to be an on-site discussion about plaques, bricks,
Yeah.
placement. I think we'll obviously have to meet at some point to go over that with, I can be there, and whomever, or all of you, whoever wants to be there, we can set that up.
Okay.
Mary, so they did those 2 signs that were originally put in, that were on those blue posts. We did take those off. So
Great.
those can be put on the fence.
Yeah, great. I don't want to mess with either the sidewalks or the poured in place surface, so that's why I thought we could hang additional signs on the fencing.
Yep.
Dave, the little roofs, I don't know if that's the
Yeah.
plural word.
Yeah.
They don't work on any of the slides for
No.
any reason. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't think
No.
so. I figured you might have used them if they did, but
No, there are 2 there's 2 spare roofs.
Yeah,
I saw that are over behind the old fire station. Those can be put in storage. They're still in good condition. We
Yeah.
just don't have anything for them to go on. At some point, whether it's at this playground or another spot, you could always buy the posts and, use them in some fashion.
well, and not really large enough for like to shade over a picnic
No,
table.
they're not. They'd be a one person shade, or
Yeah,
or a dog shelter for one
Yeah.
cooling zone for a dog.
Dave, did you say anything about the Gaga, sorry, Nikki, the Gaga Ball Pit?
No, I don't know anything about that. Was that existing?
It's on the plan and it was ordered.
Okay, I don't have it. I'll have to look at the invoice and see if it was received.
Yeah, we definitely should look because
I believe
it's in
it
the
was
plan.
on the list of things being paid for,
Mhm.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
but I don't
I'll
have
have to
that
look
in
at
front
that.
of me, so.
I don't have it
Okay.
in front of me either. It's in my office, but it
I
was
don't either.
paid. If you look at the plan when in your office, it's in the back corner, kind of near the snack shack, and you had even put out where you were going to put sod there and so forth, and it
Okay.
was ordered and I believe paid for. So we just want to
Okay.
confirm where that is.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I will do that. I am out of the office tomorrow. When I get
Okay.
back in on Friday, I'll look at that.
Okay.
Dave, do you want me to come down on Friday and meet with you, or anyone else who's around Friday?
Yeah, I'm going to be around Friday.
I think the sooner we order some of these things, because how long do benches and stuff take to order?
It's hard to say. I really can't say, just
Right.
because 1, I've never dealt with this company, and 2, some companies are experiencing shipping delays
Right.
just because of the COVID. Some aren't, some are. It's kind of
Yeah.
a crapshoot.
What's the name of that company, Dave? Because we had voted on a previous meeting doing like a communication center, purchasing one of those where you can put flyers in it and something. And I wonder
Okay.
if it was in the same company, we could just do it in the same order.
What Nancy gave me when I met with her yesterday is the catalog is Premier Polysteel.
Premier Polysteel.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll have this back in my office so you can look
I
at
can
it.
look at it. Yeah.
Yep.
Because I was just looking at one that was sent to the planning board. I found it in the mail. It was the Kirby one. And they
Okay.
had them in there. So
Yeah. Honestly, it doesn't matter to me
Okay.
what you choose to go with.
okay.
Wasn't Carl, was your son gonna do a project as well?
Uh,
We talked about-
We did talk, we kind of briefed over it. I was going to mention that later. He is looking to do community service as a junior. He has to do his community service. So he's going to make picnic tables. That was the plan, if that's the board's desire that he do that. So I was going to bring it up in a little while.
Okay, I just thought we had Dave still on to let him know that.
Oh, I do have one question about that, Dave.
Yep.
I think the plan for the board was to put the picnic tables in the grass area on either end of the playgrounds. Is that going to be a problem for the guys that cut the grass?
Now, they can, as long as he doesn't build them out of 8x8s and they weigh 600 pounds. I have a two-person crew that mows over there, so they can just pick them up, walk them onto the walk pads, and put them back afterwards.
My thought was if it was an issue, we could put a set of wheels on 2 of the legs so they could be picked up and moved by one person. I mean,
No,
they're sturdy
just build
picnic
them.
tables, but they don't weigh 600 pounds.
Yeah, no, I build them traditional, just on the 4 legs, and 2 people can easily move it. Yep.
Okay.
What
perfect.
about like chaining them down so no one takes them?
Well, my opinion is I don't think that would be an issue because of the way the gating, they're not going to be able to walk them out. There's not going to be an opening wide enough because I'm going to have vehicle access gates, but those will be chained, locked. And then the only other openings are 4-foot openings. And so they would have to pick it up like chest height, which isn't easily done. So, I mean, you can do what you want, but I don't think it would be an issue because both ends are going to be gated. That's just my opinion.
And didn't we talk about cameras too at some point?
I know Michael had mentioned that.
Yeah. I do think it's something.
That
we
may
should
be next year's budget too.
Yeah, that may be, but I think it's something that we should think about in the future.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I agree.
I mean, it's just too much money there to not.
Yep.
So Dave, you just mentioned the gates, the entry gates, I'm assuming you're referring to, will
Yep.
be locked.
Well, I'm not, there's gonna be, the plan called for openings. So there'll be 4-foot openings for pedestrians to get through, but not wide enough
Okay.
for vehicles to get through.
Okay, so, and assuming the areas that are wide enough for vehicles are locked, and that makes sense. In case of an emergency, how do we open those? Like for an ambulance or something?
Yeah, I can always, let me see.
Are you on speed dial?
And I do live close, but you know what I would probably do is, well, one thought that came to my mind first, like some areas I have locked. I get a lock from the fire department, but I don't know if EMS has a fire department key. I do, and all the
Right.
firemen do, or fire trucks do. I don't know about EMS. I can look into that.
Dave, what about a Knox box?
I think with Knox boxes, believe it or not, Kyle, they're like over $500.
Are they really that expensive?
Yeah, yeah. Because I found the only reason I know that is because of the police station project. They're crazy expensive. So I'll figure something out. I'll think about that.
Well, I
Wouldn't
was just
baseball
wondering if
need
the-
access?
What's that?
I said, wouldn't baseball need access for the snack shack?
Probably,
yeah.
for them to get supplies back there or something.
Yeah,
So,
because that
all
was
right,
the plan.
let me figure
Maybe
out.
there's a place in the bathroom that we could camouflage a key or something.
Yeah, or keep a key in the concession stand hung up somewhere.
Okay.
I mean, worst
Just so
case,
that all the parties involved would know where it is.
yeah, and then
Just in
worst
case
case,
of emergency.
Just don't say
ambulance
where it
ever
is on this because it's recorded.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the entire public now knows, no.
no, that might be the best solution is hang one, have one in the concession stand marked.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
The
it
other
popped
thing
into my
is
head.
the rec committee at some point, I mean, also we don't have access to that concession stand. So we would probably need a key or just have one or something.
Okay.
So we could always figure that out, but I think the committee should.
Yeah, Dave, are you changing the locks on all the other doors or just the bathroom doors?
No, just the bathroom.
So Emily, I can get you a key to the snack shack.
Okay, that would be, I just think the committee should have access to that, just in case
Everybody but
emergency.
Kyle should.
Okay.
I got a pair of bolt cutters in my truck all the time, so
That's the master key.
that's right. Don't ask why.
I definitely think we should put Nikki just in the notes to make sure that we circle back with the camera situation. I feel very strongly that it's just so much money out there.
Yeah.
And maybe we could even find donations or grants or things like that. I think we should try to circle back on that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that would be an astronomical amount of money, depending on, I think you're looking at probably around $5,000, and that's very ballpark. Just to give you an idea, it's not going to be 10 or 20,000 or anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because there's some different options as far as what we can do.
And is it something we hook into the police station so they're monitoring it, or is that one of my other new jobs?
Yeah, nope. If I tie it into our existing camera systems within different areas, the police have access to. Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Dave, before you go, one quick question.
Yep.
You mentioned earth removal. Is
Yes.
that a committee, a department, or
That
what?
is a committee which is chaired by Gary Garrettson.
Okay. At your convenience,
Yep.
certainly not, we need a list of all the companies or individuals that did a tremendous amount of
Yeah,
donation work.
Yeah,
or work
and
on it.
there's a long list of them. And I'll
Yeah.
probably talk with a couple people too, just to make sure I don't want to miss anybody.
Yes, and we don't have that list.
Yeah,
So,
no, I will get that to you because a lot of companies stepped up, and did
yes,
a
they
lot.
did. Yes.
That's the only way really with the budget we had that we got everything done, was by gracious companies and individuals.
Yes.
Absolutely.
It's
Just
it-
as a, yeah, that's awesome. I mean, we definitely don't want to miss anyone. One thing is softball asked me, they won't be able to in the first phase, phase 2 play, but the men's league would still like to play this year,
Yep.
if possible. And so just as a reminder, you said that after the fence went in, you would fix that field.
Yeah, there's one big runoff near the third base side near home plate. I'll take care of that and keep that from washing out, and
Okay.
then look at the rest of it. Yep.
Okay.
So
Yep.
when you mentioned the infield mix, that's happening for the baseball fields, correct?
Correct.
So are we doing the softball fields in the fall, perhaps?
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how everything plays out. As far as there's a lot up in the air right now with the just monies. with
Yeah,
the town
I get
and
it.
everything.
I get it. And we can revisit it, but
Yep, absolutely. Yeah,
that
just because
was-
it didn't get done now doesn't mean it can never be done. We put all the infrastructure is there as far as the drainage and everything is over to it. Yep.
yes, okay. Wonderful.
Yeah, I'll
David-
let them know that. Sorry, Nikki, go.
Go ahead,
That's
Nick.
all right. I'm just for the notes. You mentioned that you reached out to a particular department or area for that $40,000 that was missing from this budget.
Yep.
Or overspend, rather, I'm misspeaking.
Yeah.
I just for the notes that I have it correctly. Who put that money up?
We went to the town. I made a request I went to the town administrator and then wrote him an email of what I had left for expenses that were now in the red. So the town administrator brought that to the finance committee.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I
Couple
can't always
questions.
type fast enough.
Yeah,
I know.
Couple
I have
questions
some
for you
notes
guys.
too, Nikki, if it helps.
sure.
When do you think rec areas are going to open up?
Tomorrow.
I don't know where playgrounds fell.
I think, I was really pretty sure that I had seen playgrounds on phase 2, and then I had seen them on phase 3, so I don't know exactly which was accurate. There's so many incorrect lists floating around, I think. Anyone else seen it anywhere?
No, I saw what you saw, Mary.
Yeah.
And I can
Okay.
reach out on Friday. I can reach out to the health agent. I just wasn't sure because I think the last I had heard it was possibly phase 2, which is Monday. Town hall is opening, and that playground we're gonna have to leave closed. Obviously, it's probably only 2 weeks away. But I
Right.
just didn't know. I wanted to let you know when we're not ready to open up that one yet. We're probably 2 weeks out in my mind. And I'll certainly keep you, apprised of where we're at.
Yes.
And that was another question leading into that. Porta potties for all the rec areas. We
Okay.
don't have any yet. When do you think you would like to see them placed? And you don't have to answer me now, but just something to.
I actually was going to bring that up. If we're not using the fields for sports, do we put them out at the fields?
I wouldn't think so.
No.
I wouldn't put them out until we get cleared to use the fields.
Yeah.
So we
and that was-
we are clear to use some of the fields, and I'll explain that later on in the meeting, but not for
Organized.
sports.
Yeah.
Organized.
Exactly. Yeah, I wouldn't
You
put
can
it out
circle
unless.
back to me on that and
Okay.
just let me know. I just wanted to let you know we have not, had any place yet because there's no sense in paying for a room somebody's not spending any time in.
Yeah. No, I had that on my reminder because you had told me to come to you. And I had it on the reminder, but we haven't had a reason to have them yet. So
Okay.
I think
Why
we'll
pay
be
for them?
given more direction in the next week or so. I
Yeah.
know the Board of Health is meeting, I think he told me on the 16th.
16th, yep.
And I thought the meeting was last night, but it was a different meeting. So we may know more after that.
Okay.
I also followed up with a few people at the town hall, and it said that we are at this time following exactly what the governor says. So if he opens playgrounds, it sounds like the town's going to follow what's happening there.
And I
So.
just checked the website for Reopening Massachusetts, and it does have playgrounds and spray decks as part of phase 2, which is
Okay.
technically June 8th.
Yeah.
So you can open the school,
Yeah.
which we'll just make put something out on Facebook or something that the King Property Playground will not yet be opening.
Yeah.
So are you thinking, and I'm not holding you to a tight date, but I am, Dave. Are you thinking that are you saying by like the end of the month or the week of the 22nd, or what are your thoughts?
I'm hoping best case scenario, let me pull up my calendar here. If the guardrail company starts, I'm hoping maybe possibly the week of the 22nd. Like that Monday.
Yeah.
You know, and some things, I know my stuff can be done with my people, unless something, God forbid, catastrophic else happens around town that, you know, I have to put manpower to. But other than that, our plan is Monday, I'm gonna have everybody over there working on the infield mix. And Adam, when do you think you would start to be using the fields?
I think a realistic date would be the week of July 6th.
Okay.
Just based on the governor's plan, there wouldn't be any games until after June 29th.
Yeah, okay.
Given the fact that the 4th of July is the Saturday after that, I don't think it makes much sense to start before the 4th of July.
Yeah, okay.
We're going to have a number of different sort of things to deal with respect to COVID and then also Triple E. So we're sort of approaching our season with the potential idea that it'll be just Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
And so I think a June 6th week for games makes sense. It wouldn't be June 6th, but that following weekend.
July, you mean, right?
July.
July. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Make
July.
me nervous.
Yeah,
Make
sorry.
me
Yeah.
sweat. June 6th.
I'm really excited at the idea. So realistically, maybe the weekend of July 11th for first games. But that week of July 6th is what we were hoping for.
Okay, yeah. So I should be, you know, I'm hoping, I'm thinking by the end of next week, I should have the fields ready to go, with everything. But I'll keep you in the loop.
That will probably be the same for softball, because that's when you can have games and they don't practice. So
Okay.
if they move forward, the way I spoke to Skip is that would be the time frame.
Yep. Okay. And my thought is too, I'll probably, even though it's I know you've all seen the parking lot, which is reprocessed. Once the guardrails are in, I'm probably, because we do have a line painting machine, I'll probably paint parking spot lines in that, which will wear off over time. But I think at first, once we kind of train people, if you will, how the parking lot is laid out. And then if, you know, next year, if they're faded, we may redress them, we may not. We'll see how it goes. That'll kind of be a year. But I think for the original, it'd be a good idea to have lines down. Otherwise, I don't want it to look like a demolition derby.
Oh, yeah.
And you can park on the other side too, right, Dave? The side
Yep.
at the Carver Square.
Yep. We extended that parking lot in with some reprocessed material, and then there'll be a guardrail at the where the grass starts. And then also there's going to be guardrail on the major field. We put the walkway in that's 5 foot, and then so there'll be the fence, 5 foot of walkway, and then the guardrail. That way nobody can pull up a car right to the fence. So it protects the people that are watching the game from the fence line, and also, you know, creates the walking path.
So going back to porta potties there, would we need them there, or would the bathrooms be done by the time?
No, the bathrooms will be done by the
Oh.
time they should be. Yep.
So we wouldn't even need them anymore at that field, correct?
No, no.
That's great.
Okay. Dave, one quick question. You just mentioned walking path.
Yep.
I know that's been kind of a forgotten piece of this whole thing with the playground. How, and maybe we just haven't discussed it. Are we connected to the old walking path yet, or is that still to happen?
No. So what we did is we just made a loop around, if you start at the parking lot, go around the major field to the backside over near Carver Square Boulevard, and then it ties back into the playground, and you can loop around that way. But right now there is no connection over to the old library site, or the library site, the old playground site.
Okay, so, and this was probably part of one of the word phase comes up in everything in our life now.
Yeah.
But on the original plan, there was a phase that was going to connect them so that they'd end up with a 1.5 mile walking path or.
Yeah, I don't know which phase that was, but it was.
Yeah.
I know it wasn't in phase 1.
Yeah. But just so we don't forget it, I guess I was just curious about, yeah.
Yep.
Are they still able to use the one behind the police station, or is that because of construction not allowed?
No, I believe part of it is still existing. I believe there is. Yep, off of that back parking lot is still accessible to cars.
Okay.
Library.
Okay. And I can discuss it with you Friday, but on the bricks, the installation of the new and the old bricks, is that something we want to reach out to see if there's any kids who are looking? I'm thinking of Carl mentioning the community service, or could they potentially damage some of the area?
No, I think we'll make that determination once we figure out where they're going and what's going to be required of the installation.
Okay.
I think that's when we make that decision.
All right.
Yep.
Okay.
What time Friday was that? Are you meeting?
We didn't pick a time. What's good for you, Mary? Probably later in the morning, because early in the morning I'm probably going to be tied up because I have to get ready for the election that's happening on Saturday.
That's right.
So I just got to finish with yes. I got to finish with the preparation at the high school gym. So I'll probably
you
be
tell
tied up.
me when.
How about how's 11 o'clock sound?
Perfect.
Okay, I'll meet you right at the playground.
Sure.
Okay. And certainly anybody else that would like to join?
I think that rooster is saying he would like to come.
I'm so sorry.
I love that.
We
Again, thank you, Dave,
processed
for all
9
your
of them,
work.
and we picked the quietest one. And once the other roosters were gone, this one's just obnoxious.
Ah, that's a
But
rooster.
it's quiet.
for you.
It's quieter than my kids. So
I don't.
I love that.
Dave, thanks so much for all that.
Thank you for all your work, Dave.
Yep, you're welcome.
Yes, thank you, Dave.
Awesome, great job by everybody.
Very welcome. I think, it's kind of funny now that I think once the fencing's up and now that the stone dust is down, and have all of you seen the stone dust?
Yes, it looks great.
no, not yet.
It's got a light tint to it. I went with a it wasn't called cranberry, but it was the closest to cranberry. So I went with that color. It's not a strong color. It's a light color, but there is a little tint to it. But it's hardening up nice. I think it's going to be a good product.
Great.
Once the fencing's up and all our construction debris is cleaned up, I think it came out really, really nice. I think if you remember, it was what we came from, a dirt parking lot, basically, to what it is.
It looks great.
I think it came out really, really nice.
Yes.
Yes, excellent job, Dave. Thank you.
Yeah, and everybody's going to appreciate it because we've all been stuck in our houses, so they're going to love it even more.
We hope.
Yeah, we hope.
Okay.
All right. I
Very
will
good.
see you Friday, Dave.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Bye,
Dave.
Dave.
Thanks,
All
Dave.
right. You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Great, it's so exciting. It's so close to the end.
I know.
While we're on the playground, I was in touch today with the owner of the toy store at the mall, Massaply. He lives here in Carver. Actually, his daughter, Carrie, was a former student. In trying to figure out where we go to buy trucks, sturdy sand toys, things like that. And so we were emailing back and forth, and he's going to, I think, share some photographs or a catalog or whatever for me to choose from. My first concern with buying any equipment for the sandbox is that there are no sharp edges and nothing that anyone's going to get hurt on. And so in doing that, you need to have a quality product. So he was going to look into some things. He will special order whatever we'd like. What he asked was, how many trucks or things do you think we would like?
I have a question though. With this
Yes.
COVID virus around, people are going to be, interested in what they're touching and other kids are touching. So is this a good time to get those items?
We can't put them out right away, I don't think.
Probably not put them out, but it would be nice to kind of wrap this all up. I think
Yeah.
maybe, I don't know, maybe whatever the committee thinks.
I think we're
The old
using some of this
playground.
budget.
Say that again, Jim?
Did the old playground have stuff like that, or did kids just have to bring their own when they play?
No, they started off with trucks and things. There was nothing really worth saving. There, over time, many residents brought trucks, and I don't know if you recall, we got a couple of phone calls from people asking if they could go and get their own trucks back, since we weren't going to use them. I remember when John was a kid, we had like Fisher Price trucks that they were out, 24/7 for years. There was a bulldozer and dump trucks and things like that. I don't know if Fisher Price still makes them. Scott was going to look into it for me. But my question was really, would you want more than one, say, dump truck? Do you want a bulldozer? Do you want the cement mixer kind of thing? What kinds of equipment would you like? Or do you want me to get pictures and then share them with the committee?
I think those are all great ideas. Those are something the kids want to play with.
Yeah.
Yes, and yes.
I think it's something we don't really need to overthink too much.
Okay.
We
All
trust
right.
you, Mary.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
You have more experience with kids than any of us.
Yeah.
I have
Well,
a
my
question.
sandbox in my classroom was a little smaller than what we've got out there, but, and I would ask him to look into some that might be, because we do have the ADA friendly elevated sandbox that will probably be used by all kinds of kids, but want things that are easy for children to use. So, and buckets and shovels and things like that. Everyone okay with that?
Yep.
I just think you're going to see a lot of new rules and regulations about things like that.
I don't care if we store them.
Yeah.
Well, we have some budget money now that, because this would all come under new money. So we have to use some of our existing budget
Oh, okay.
that has been on a freeze. So we need to look into if we can use that. If we have to wait till after July 1, we can wait. You know what I mean? I just, going so many months without an official meeting, these are some of the things we haven't had a chance to discuss, so.
Right.
The other thing,
Even if we have to store it, I think that's a good idea. At least we'll
Okay.
have it and it's spent and it's paid for. My other question was, do we have to get a hand sanitizing machine type thing?
yeah, so I asked Dave for it, Jim. I thought the same thing. So he is going to mount one, I believe, on the outside of the snack shack, or somewhere on the playground there will be one. He is getting one for us.
So
Okay.
that's good.
Yeah, I confirmed that. When we talked about the bathrooms, I saw him in the hallway at work, and I confirmed that he'd get us a hand sanitizer.
The other thing we talked, Emily and I spoke about getting the, one of those large, they're like deck boxes. They're pretty sturdy. Mine's been out a couple of years out on the deck year round, so they're pretty sturdy. So that we could train the kids to put the Gaga balls or any other loose equipment that they would use for that back in the box, so that things aren't walking off the playground, hopefully. You know? And again, kids may start bringing their own, you
I'm
know,
sure they
balls,
will.
but yeah, but we need to start off with a few. So, so I guess at some point we need to figure out if we want to start, I don't know, it's such a sensitive time for people unemployed and stuff. At what time do we start pushing for a few more bricks to be sold or some more donations for benches or things?
I think it's fine as a reminder, because you're either going to give or you're not. You're going to make
Right.
that choice yourself. We're not going and soliciting people. Like, we're not going into a business and handing them something. We're just making a post. Like, our first round of bricks is a little later than we had anticipated due to this. Reminder, our deadline is this.
Yeah, okay.
But we'll be taking donations for here to whenever.
Forever.
Yeah.
Forever.
Yeah, yeah,
Here to forever. So if you can't afford this round, then feel free in the years, you know?
yeah, okay.
That's
Do
what
it.
I think.
Do it before the end of July when the unemployment runs out.
Yeah.
And there is about 9,000, I believe. And that's why I said when he talks about the benches and the tables, and I actually forgot to ask about the trash bins. I want a lot of trash bins around. But if we have to purchase those, he does know that he does have that fund. But he also wants to say there might be things that come up that we forgot about. But that's some of the things that definitely the benches, some people, that's what they gave a donation for, is to buy a bench. So just remember that.
I don't know if any of you understood what Dave was talking about. Originally, when they put in the gray arch and it had the 5 through 12 age bracket sign for the playground, and then the blue one was rules of the playground. At some point they put a second blue one in, which I never saw, but it's laying there with concrete on the bottom. And so I went and was checking them out, and I realized that it was possible to remove just the sign part, which is the rules of the playground. And we can put those on both ends of the fencing, perhaps. Or when we see everything done, we can figure out where they can appropriately be hung up, rather than digging into anything else with new kinds of posts or something. We do have 2 gray arch posts. One says I don't know what age to 5, and then 5 to 12, something like that. The toddler area and the older area. Anything else anyone has on the playground that they want?
I think the biggest sign that we need to have made is no cleats on the, I don't know what that stuff is called, but you know what I'm talking about, the ground.
Yeah, the
rubber-
Put in place.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always wanted to call it something else, you guys know. So I think we need that sign as soon as possible. No cleats on
Is he
that.
open? Do you know?
He is, yep,
Peter is? Okay.
yep.
All right, so I will reach out to him in the next 2 days.
And then
And
and then I think other things we'll know as it opens, what rules we might want to put in place, but definitely when the bathrooms get open, you were going to want to sign like bathrooms are unlocked between such and such a times out front, so people aren't yanking on the door.
Yeah.
You know. And then we'll have to work with the sports too to kind of work what works for them too.
Yeah. The other sign, and I don't want to over sign the place. you know,
No.
because then they don't read any of them. But I do want a caution sign that the slides, all of them, not just the metal one, all signs may be hot. And I know we had talked about before having a bin with a cover, but with towels, we can't use those when it first opens. But eventually, I'd like to think we could. And then they can, so then if it's in the heat of the day, in the summer, someone could sit on there and be protected. I don't know. Thoughts?
I think it's good to put on the sign.
Yeah. Just to cover ourselves, I think. Anything else on that?
As far as the cleats go, Adam, I'm sure you'll send out emails to the league, reminding them every once in a while.
Without question.
I knew
It'll be
that.
in all of our preseason emails, and then as with the season goes on, if we continue to notice it being an issue, we'll continuously send reminders to everybody as well.
And I'm sure everybody will be vigilant when games are going on as far as keeping an eye on that kind of stuff.
Yeah, we will. It's going to be a directive of the board that we want to have people out there keeping an eye on it just to make sure. So we'll keep a close eye on it for sure. It does look like we may not have T-ball this year. We'll see what happens. I remain somewhat optimistic that we'll be able to, but it may be a challenge given the restrictions that we'll have to adhere to for COVID-19 and for safety, because they're less likely to social distance as much as the older players will on the field. So we may have some challenges for that. We'll see what happens, but I think that might cut down on some of the traffic as well if we don't have T-ball.
Right.
Would you anticipate the kids all wearing masks while they play?
I do. I think it's likely that both Little League and Cal Ripken national organizations require it. As of right now, I'm sure we'll get into this in a few minutes with Emily based on the agenda, but as of right now, if we do decide to play, we are probably not going to be affiliated with a national organization. We're going to get our own insurance and not charter through one of the national organizations. It just doesn't make sense since those typically involve fees for district tournaments and things like that, which aren't happening this year. It just doesn't make sense at this point.
Right.
But we're still going to adhere to those regulations and restrictions as much as we can. So I think it's likely that we have some sort of what they call a gator mask, which is like a neoprene or lycra type material that covers your neck and goes up over your face. Something like that players have to wear when they're in the dugouts.
Yes.
The infield may have to wear them during the game, but pitchers won't, and the outfield will not.
Adam, if you're looking at insurance, in the past, I had talked to Michael that there is a possibility of going on the town thing. Remember we had talked about that?
Yeah, I think we did, but then it would have to be a recreation sport.
Oh, does it have to be?
I think that was one of the stipulations.
That was final. Okay. I wasn't sure where we left off with that, so.
But
Okay.
could you do that for 1 year, Adam?
Yeah, we absolutely can. I mean, there's no restrictions on us as far as, leaving and then coming back or anything like that. We have not yet done our charter, in part because of what was happening. So we hadn't initiated the charter and gotten the insurance yet. We're going to get the insurance through the same insurance company. We're going to get the same exact coverage. We're just not doing it through Cal Ripken as the conduit. We're going directly to the insurance company and booking it through them. It's actually substantially less expensive by doing it on our own rather than getting it through the national organization. I was shocked.
Yeah.
To circle back on the playground too, he's saying, the end of the month, even if playgrounds can open before, we'll make sure we post that and share the heck out of that. But I'm wondering, like at this point, what I've been thinking, we won't be able to do any type of ribbon cutting or anything because of crowds. But maybe next summer we can really plan a end of the year, school year, summer thing at the playground and do some of the things we talked about, like ice cream trucks and all of that. So
Yeah.
just we could almost do the 1 year anniversary type thing instead. That's what I was thinking.
Since we're on it, Carl, how many tables would your son like to make?
I was planning on 4.
Okay.
If I went down there and I looked. I think if we put 2 in each section of the grass, I mean, Mary, if you want to take
Yeah.
a look at it tomorrow, Friday when you're down there, and if you agree with me, I can send you all a picture of what, because I made one for myself, so he's going to make the same exact thing. The materials are about $130 a piece. Obviously, labor would be free, but the materials are $130 a piece. And so
Okay.
certainly
Could
cheaper
we-
than the $500 that
Yeah.
Dave was talking about for the other ones. So, and it's a good way for him to earn his community service time.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's something that if a year, 2 years from now, we can gradually add the other kind that are permanent in place or
Sure.
whatever.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I don't know. I don't know how many frameworks and whatever that we saved from the old playground. I know that Nancy was talking about making, wasn't it? She was talking about making 6-foot ones, Dave, Carl, instead of 8-foot.
These will be 6 feet. Yes.
Right, but I'm talking about the benches.
Oh,
So I don't
yes.
know, Dave,
Whatever they were. I don't remember. Were they 8 going down to 6 or 6 going down to 4 or something?
I think it was 8 going to 6.
That might be it. Yeah.
He just said it wasn't as easy as it sounded when they were taken down in all the pieces. It just has not been as easy as it sounded like. We'll just do
Yes.
this.
Well, and to be honest, I didn't think we were saving any of the slats.
I didn't either. I thought we were getting
I
all
didn't
new
either.
slats and just saving the bench standards. That
Right. But there appeared to be a whole stack of slats when it first came out of the fire station, out back, Emily, where we
Right.
saw them.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I don't know how many you think are appropriate. I can go back through our old notes and find out. I know we said we would have whatever was with the other playground. There were benches outside the area of the other playground. I remember under the shade.
Yes.
So I don't know how many we actually need.
If you remember,
You
that
know?
other playground had a lot of open space too.
Yes.
There was a lot of open area in that other playground that we're not going to have on this one. We got a lot more.
Yeah, and I think it's got to be outside the foam surface.
Yes.
I mean, there is one bench in the concrete in between the sandbox and the toddler area, if you will.
Mhm.
That roofed area, there's
Yeah.
with one
Yep.
bench inside. But everything else, all the other benches, I think need to be outside of the foam surface, don't you
Oh yeah. I
think?
don't think we're going to want to dig up that to put benches in there.
Yeah.
Or, they're not
I
putting.
think you'll know better Friday too, Mary, when you walk it with him. He'll tell
Yeah.
you.
Yeah,
But I say we don't skim on the seating. I mean, I think most parents don't want to stand there to watch them for an hour. I mean,
well,
never
and I know that at some point there was, yeah, exactly. And there was talk about having benches, and I don't know whether they're new, they're old, they're wooden, they're whatever, in between the major league fence and then the 10-foot fence.
Yes, there was supposed to be, benches for watching the baseball games.
Yeah.
Right. There are benches still outside the tennis court that Ray made probably 20 years ago when they needed them outside the tennis courts. Would baseball mind something like that, or do they need the plastic or something like that?
No, baseball will take whatever we get.
Say it again?
Baseball will take whatever we can get. So if
I mean, they had the metal bleachers, but they also had those benches that were sitting on telephone poles, just 2x12s on telephone poles out there.
so
Yeah.
anything with a back on it is going to be an improvement over what we had.
Yeah.
There was one really nice bench out near the center field flagpole that was made of some sort of heavy duty plastic or rubberized material. It was a fantastic bench. I don't know where that is, but it was in phenomenal condition. It was a great bench. Things like that would be ideal, but other than that, everything we had was less than ideal. It was
Right.
not very nice
Right.
to sit on, and had no back to it. You couldn't really relax in it. So any bench
Right.
would be fantastic.
So
Okay.
I made some notes, Mary, you can figure out benches, picnic table, trash, and then bleachers. Because I
Yeah.
know we didn't talk about trash. And then I'm gonna put the Gaga ball so that you can ask them again.
And,
Yeah.
and for what it's worth, Mary, that benches are the perfect thing that families and or other charitable organizations in town would donate funds to the leagues. For instance, the Carver Police Union every single year is overwhelmingly generous to our league, as they are most organizations in town. And they're always looking for things like that to help buy for the league to provide a better environment for families. So I'm sure the police union would help us. Other charitable organizations would help us to get benches.
Well, they already donated to the playground, so I didn't know that it's fair to expect them to donate.
Yeah, and we don't expect them to, but we are.
Yeah, I know, I didn't mean that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, but Kyle will tell you they always did it when he was president. They've done it every year I've been president. They're unbelievable.
Absolutely. Very generous.
Okay.
And they never waited to ask. They never waited for us to ask either. They always came to me.
They proactively come to us and say, how can we help?
What do you need?
Okay.
They didn't say, we want to donate this. They said, what do you need? And we'll donate towards that. So.
Yep.
Okay. So I'll make a little, I'll bring one of the smaller drawings and mark off how many, because that was part of the plan, but I don't know that we had counted on them being fancier ones. They might be more homemade ones.
Right.
Mary, can the committee vote on whether the picnic tables so that I could work with Carl to get that money paid and stuff? If you guys, but I need a.
You
vote.
read my mind. I was just going to ask that.
All right, I was just making notes. Sorry.
So I can't make the motion on the minutes, but can I do this one?
Leave it to your minions, Mary.
I'll make a motion to have Mr. Miller, the Miller family, do the picnic tables. 4 picnic tables, is that what you said, Carl?
Yes, 4.
Under community service.
Under the
And I will be
Community service.
most willing to sign off on the community service.
You'll be glad
Second.
to hear that.
Yeah, well, he has to have a signature.
Yes, he
Someone in
does.
charge.
And I can't sign it, so you'd have to, Mary.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Oh, I can't vote.
Okay.
Sorry. I'm
Excellent.
in favor, but I can't.
But you're in
vote.
favor anyway, Ellen.
I'm in favor anyways. Carl, so I can work with you and we could try to do that in this year's budget. That would be great.
Okay,
So,
very good.
all right.
Nikki,
Yes. No.
I'm thinking maybe you might know more than Emily would. Any word on soccer? Any plans to? We are being recorded, Nick.
No, I have no idea. And to be honest with you, I work for a health insurance company. I'll be really surprised if we see anything happen this summer. I mean, I think we're optimistic. I'm personally optimistic for the fall, but in their defense, there's nothing to report.
Okay, yeah.
I was
Well,
told
and
that
and
no sports are
it's-
looking at it, Mary. At this time, I thought what I understood that no sports but baseball and men's softball would be looking into having anything.
I didn't
I
think
saw an
so.
email come through about football. I don't remember what it said.
Football is planning on going forward in August and fall
Right.
with tackle, but their flag has not.
Flag is done.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
those are the
I
only
mean, you're
two.
talking about the season, if it started today, would have 2 weeks left.
Yeah.
So it's just,
Yeah.
it's what it is. It's what it is.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So the only.
I
the only
assumed, but
sport-
I didn't know for sure.
Adam,
No,
what-
I
what-
haven't heard anything, but there's really nothing to report yet. I mean, the state's decision is a state decision. I work for a club soccer program and there's no update with them either.
Okay.
Adam, what would be your plan for baseball? Just to throw something together for the town?
Yeah, specifically here locally, our plan is to try and put some sort of season together for the town.
She's
It would
moving right
be-
along here.
What's that?
I said she moved from playground to sports really quick, Mary. Here.
Yeah.
We didn't even get to phase 2 opening.
So, yeah, our thought would be to do something here locally with just Carver kids. If some kids from other communities, decided to join us maybe, but we're not planning any sort of travel program or our summer program when we go to other towns. I did reach out to both of the summer leagues that we typically participate in, the Suburban League and the South River League, and both are canceled for the summer.
Right.
So if we were to do any sort of traveling to other towns, it would sort of be on a one-off basis, not an organized league basis. But we plan to try to do something here locally, and we'll probably reconfigure our age groups in order to accomplish that. Might be doing something like 10, 11s, and 12s, and then something with 6, 7, 8, and 9, and trying to get in some sort of season. It'll probably run July, August, and a portion of September. It'll sort of function a little bit like fall ball, but it'll be competitive baseball, unlike fall ball. Fall ball is typically much more fun and things like that. But this will be more relaxed in the scheduling side of things, because we'll have 3 months to get it in. So we won't be, most likely won't be playing during the week, given the potential for Triple E. Our plan is to schedule games for weekends. We may hope to get games in during the week if the opportunity arises and Triple E turns out not to be as bad as anticipated. We'd love to try and get some games in under the lights on Friday nights and things like that, like we have in the past. But I think our sort of realistic plan is Saturdays and Sundays and just a local league.
Sounds good.
So it will be more games than just instructional stuff.
Yeah, like we'll still let teams practice and things like that, but what I foresee is that practices are going to be a challenge because of Triple E. I suspect our fall ball league is typically no practice, just games, but the games are sort of like not pickup games because you have assigned teams, but it's much more focused on just having fun. This is going to be competitive baseball, but it's going to be weekends and fewer practices. Just because unless coaches and kids are able to practice at 2 in the afternoon, I don't anticipate there being a lot of time slots available for practice during the week. If we're sort of proceeding as if Triple E is going to be a problem, because I think it's naive of us to think otherwise and plan to play 18 minutes a week.
Yeah.
Unless 2020 turns around quick.
This year,
Well, that was another thing I was going to bring up, is that I will be sending a reminder for fall, but I'm just trying to get through summer and some of this COVID stuff. But I will be sending a reminder to fall, asking every league like I do what their plans are, reminding them Triple E could be an issue again, and they're expecting it to be. And that we should start thinking of things now. And then hopefully I can work with the school to kind of get some gym fees that are not going to be crazy if they're paying our maintenance for the fields. See if we can get some gym times if needed, some of the sports. So I will be sending that out. Also working with the Board of Health this time to be a little more on top of it this year, since last year it came out of nowhere and we didn't know the effects. So that's my plan for the fall. It's actually the end of summer because it will be August when it starts. So just to let everybody know, but I haven't even got past opening the fields yet. So I haven't got there yet.
Emily, do you want to talk about phase 2 opening?
Yes. So I was obviously just like everyone else reading all the phases and the government things. And you did notice it on the town hall website. They said that they would be following the governor's rules, and that that whatever is there is what they're going to follow. So I was approached by our yoga instructor that we have used in the past, Terry Sexton, and we had tried to see if yoga's a great thing to do with social distancing. So,
Excuse me, should I text her now?
Yeah, if she can hop on, that'd be great.
Okay.
But so she had approached me and asked about opening the fields. And so one of the things that it says in the guidelines, it says the following guidelines apply to parks, open space, outdoor education programs during phase 1. So it says that you can do, and if you she sent me the guidelines, but I had already had them. It says parks and open spaces are open for walking, hiking, biking, running, and other activities such as yoga, Tai Chi are allowed activities in parks and other designated areas such as rail trails, multi-use paths, and bike paths. And then it talks about athletic fields and non-contact courts, non-organized or permitted use. So athletic field guidelines, users should sanitize hands before and after play, not share equipment, clean and wipe down equipment, When engaged in play, users should avoid touching other users' equipment in separate areas. Users waiting to utilize a section of the area, so forth. It says users should not engage in pickup games, organized games, or tournaments. But it does say that you can use athletic fields for things like yoga, Tai Chi, working out individualized. So I was approached by her asking if she could run a yoga class with 8 students and herself, which would be a group under 10, following these standards. And I said, I'll have to get back to you. I was also approached by a community member who said that they were on, after phase 1 and started, they were on the field practicing soccer by themselves and were asked to leave. They had their own equipment. They were practicing by themselves. No one else was on the field. The person drove there themselves and was in the car themselves and was asked to leave. And I actually have a problem with that, because per this government and what we're supposed to be following, you can do that. You can go play by yourself, as long as it's not a pickup or a tournament, or you can
What-
have yoga or things.
Who asked her to
When
leave?
did this happen? Because initially all fields were closed.
This is phase 1, and this happened. This came out. Phase 1 was, what was it? May 18th. When did phase 1 start? I don't have the date in front of me, but that was
Phase- Phase 1 started the 26th,
I'll tell you
Yes.
right now, it was
Yeah.
3 weeks before
25th or something, yeah.
25th, that Monday.
So this was
This
after
was
phase
after
1?
phase 1 had started.
Okay, all right, okay.
Who
I thought it
asked her to
was
leave?
before.
I do not know. It was it was either, I might have been police.
I think the Board of Health still closed all public
Yes.
playgrounds and everything. So the Board of Health was the one that closed everything.
Yep.
That's
So I
probably why
reached
the
out.
police.
Yeah,
Right.
but
Right.
they've since issued a new directive saying they're going by the state guidelines.
Correct. So I'm going to fill you in a little bit. So then I reached out to our board and said, I would like to have yoga at a field, and I'd like to bring it up to the board, and, about the other stuff. And he said that he came back to me and said the Board of Health has decided that they don't want us to use the fields, and that we can use parks such as Shirtlift Park, or the green in front of the town hall where the gazebo is more considered a park, even though this says athletics. So I have now gone to Rick LaFond, and I received this email on behalf of Rick from Elaine Weston, and it says, "Hi, Emily. Rick has asked me to reach out to you in regards to reopening an approved use for parks, open space, and outdoor education programs. The Executive Office of Energy and Environmental Affairs have issued guidelines to follow attached, which Rick stated can be used and facilitate Recreation Committee outdoor programs. These guidelines should be followed for the program, and only programs as outlined in the memo or closely related will be allowed at this time. This does not include any type of contact sport, organized team games, sport type tournaments. Each participant must have separate equipment for the activity. Please notify Rick, myself, and the police dutifully in advance when these activities scheduled, so we will, it will be being facilitated through recreation and all of the protocols." So he's now saying, yes, you can, following these guidelines, have a yoga event, not an event, a class of following the guidelines, and he attached the guidelines that I just read to you. So I've done some research on this end, and I'd like to propose to you guys that we try to start some programs like that, such as yoga, since we have somebody that can teach it and do it. And it'd be a great way to start these kids with a little something.
Emily, just-
Emily, did they say that you could use it at the fields, or you could only do it at the park?
So they had told, the Board of Health had told me only the parks, but this
Right.
says, I mean, you can't do yoga at Shirley Park. It's just
No.
not appropriate. And that green, to be honest with you, I feel is so small. I'd rather them on a field where they'd be more spread out, and would make sure that they were definitely 6 feet apart. So Rick LaFond is the one who said, yes, and through an email with Elaine on it, that we are following the state guidelines, and that yes, we can use the field for this type of event, which is yoga
Okay.
I'm talking about.
Did
All
I
right,
have
I
to
just wanna
say
make sure I
why?
understood it correctly.
He said his answer to me, oh, sorry, I have people trying to enter, sorry.
Yes, I was just gonna tell you that.
Sorry. His answer to me is, his original answer to me when I approached him with about the yoga class was that if people saw people on the field, they would think they could use it. Hi, Terry. How are you?
Good, how are
Hi,
you?
Terry.
Hi, Naomi.
Hi, Naomi.
Thanks for joining, you guys. We're just talking
Hello,
about
hello.
the wonderful email that you sent with the guidelines. And so he said that they felt like people would think they could use the field.
Is
Like
this
anyone would feel like,
is this
So
the public health
Yeah,
department?
but I've gone
Yeah.
past that
Okay.
and got approval from the town administrator to to use the field. But I wanted to run it by the committee and kind of see what you guys' thought was. I think it would be a great way to start with small groups, as long as, you know, I work with Terry and Naomi and make sure we're following these guidelines and that, you know, I contact the right people and we start this slow. But I think we need to do something. We had gained so much with recreation, you know, all the things that we've worked at, I'm worked at, and all the programs I had. It's so sad to not do anything when we can do something. So I wanted to get your feedback before doing that. Usually I don't come to you guys with every single program that I start up, but because of COVID and all of this, I wanted to bring it up. Yes,
Adam?
Are you referring to just phase one, or is this, what's that directive related to? Just phase one?
Yes, phase one, I'm still
Phase
trying to
one.
work on.
So, but phase one's over on
Yes,
the 8th, on Monday.
right.
Phase two.
We're assuming.
I mean, it could be
We're assuming.
extended.
Right.
It
So
could be
I'm just-
extended, but there's nothing that's happened to lead us to believe that it would be.
Right, but
Um,
I'm
so
just going on phase one.
Yeah, so optimistically, it would be released on Monday. Now, as
Yeah.
of phase two, this wouldn't be an issue, correct?
No,
I can speak to that a little bit.
Yeah, okay.
I've been reading the guidelines, and I actually I have a copy of the child care, which also encompasses education, summer camps, and all of that. It's all under the same protocols. It doesn't look a whole lot different in terms of numbers. We're talking with our age group about 10 students with us. And then there's the protocols of, you know, the checking in when kids are dropped off. So there's all the procedures and procedures with materials. So all of that comes under, it's sort of like the summer camp guys, but in terms of numbers, it's not looking a lot different than phase one. Phase one, what they're requiring is that in an outdoor space, you can have up to 10 people. It could be adults or children, combination, including the instructors. People need to bring their own mats in terms of yoga, their own materials. So it's not sharing of any materials in phase one. Phase two, we can actually provide materials, but they need to be sanitized. So.
And the other thing is I just, on phase one, it doesn't say anything about temperature checks or anything. It doesn't say anything. I think we would have to be clear with the parents that they would either have to drop off and like wait in their cars or something, like, because the numbers would be too big. But in phase two, it did say stuff about if we were talking not just yoga, but other programs, it was talked about temperature checks and all of that. But in phase one, doing yoga outside, it didn't say anything about that.
Right. And I think we would just establish those protocols anyway, because we don't want parents getting out of the car. I think we would just do the quick check. You actually have a checklist, and you ask those COVID questions. You do the thermometer check, and then the child can get out of the car. The parent can do what they need to do for the time frame. If they need to sit in the parking lot, that's fine.
But, Emily, I missed the very beginning of what you were saying when I came in, but I think one of the points you were making is your concern that if, like, you know, we're out doing, I don't know if Nikki's doing her soccer camp or something like that. Oh, no.
So we can't, this would be our first and only program we're starting with. So we haven't been allowed to do anything.
Are we concerned that if they see a group out there that they might think it's all, you know, free and clear?
That's what the Board of Health thought.
I wonder if we could actually like make a sign kind of like this program is presented by the Carver Rec Department or something like that, just to make it clear that this is, you know, following a guideline, just so that if people are going by on bikes or something, they see right away that this is something very different and, you know, just to kind of put it out there.
And that's part of what's in the regs too, is having things posted. So we could say COVID approved, you know, following COVID guidelines, this is a COVID approved activity.
Program, yeah.
So that
program.
was one of the things that I thought as rec, as this would be our tester with you guys. But some of the things that I wanted to bring up to the committee is, you know, would rec think about purchasing a laser thermometer type of thing and some of these signs as part of preparing for maybe if we can do other activities, not just this, because I had a whole summer lined up, as you guys know, obviously.
Yeah.
For the first time, I had everything lined up, but now that we can't, but as phases come and things we can do, if we had that signage and they were generic for Carver Rec, I think it would be great. But the town administrator is telling me that basically all I need to do is just notify the police and let them know and follow all of the instructions and all of that. But I think taking it to the next step and purchasing, I mean, maybe you guys have a, you know, thermometer, but as we run things later on, I don't want to ask people to purchase that. And we would have to have that all written when they register, like this is how, if you're registering, you're going to be doing these things, you know?
So do you read the rules to state, so for example, if baseball starts up, even in phase 2, is that right, Adam? You're doing phase 2 or are you doing 3?
Phase 2 is practice.
Yeah, phase 2 is practice only. Phase 3 would be games.
I think the
But
directive
would you
was-
have to do a temperature check for each kid as they arrive?
So
We don't know yet.
I haven't read that anywhere. I know some leagues are considering it.
But it's different. We're considered recreation camp. So
Families might appreciate knowing that we're taking it, you know, the
Yeah.
extra steps that might actually give confidence. If we say we're being proactive, that might make families actually feel like, oh gosh, I want to get these kids out of the house, you know, to do something.
So, and part of the
They're gonna
protocol,
take care, and we know they'll take care of our kids. So.
and part of the protocol is you do have to, under the camp guidelines, is you do need to provide parents with what the guidelines are, what they can expect, and actually even how to talk to their children about it. So for instance, if they're wearing masks, you know, the importance of that. I can actually, after this, because I hate to mess with the screen, but I can actually, I'll send you a copy of the guidelines that I got that actually that talks about summer camp.
yeah, I've been searching and reading them today.
Okay.
And the other day. So, but anything you send me is great. I don't mind it at all. So that'd be great.
Yeah, it's pretty lengthy.
Yeah, it is. I've been sorting
Naomi
through it.
or Terry, what age group are you guys thinking?
We're thinking 6 to 10. We didn't want to go any younger because we feel those kids wouldn't be able to understand the importance of staying on a mat. Where
Yeah, and
6 is sort of that magic age where I think they get it and they can have that self-control.
so like kind of first to fourth or so, you know, so they have a little more self-awareness. Normally we would maybe take them a little younger, but we're just a little nervous that they're not.
Yeah,
I would
and
start over.
the reason I bring that up is that even just you know, recently my brother-in-law and my sister came down to drop off a gift for Tori for her birthday. They both just turned 9 and they're very close, and you know, they were standing 6 feet apart, but very quickly their guard went down. And we had to say, whoa, 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 you know, back up. So I would be concerned about the younger kids. And 6 might even be a little too much.
We
Terry,
actually
did you explain the mat thing?
No,
The mat
so
set-
yeah, so one of the things that our plan is we're taking some of our older mats that we don't necessarily use for yoga anymore,
Mhm.
and we're laying them out
Make
this
like
way.
an H.
So making like an H. So
Like
it's
an uppercase
this is the
H.
distance, and then their mats go long ways
Yeah.
in between in a circular. So it creates that barrier, and then really talking about it. And they really love the concept of, you know, don't step into the lava or
Yeah,
into
that's your
I mean, you
raft.
could,
Yeah.
so it's,
Oh,
you can
personal
quickly make
space.
it into something where they know they need to stay on their mat, and by 6 they get it.
And that's actually another really interesting thing about yoga is it does kind of promote that sense of personal space and awareness anyway. So, yeah, I'm gonna have to no hugging. You
I know.
It's gonna be me.
If Tori
Yeah.
saw you right now,
I
she'd attack you.
know. I went to my hairdresser's house and she did my roots for me in the beginning of all this out in her yard. She wore the mask and we donned everything. As soon as I got out of the car, what did her first grader do? Auntie Omi! I'm like, no!
Yeah.
It's just,
Yeah.
it's so automatic. It's, really having to have that talk with the kids that, as much as we want to and our hearts are breaking, even as adults, Terry and I went to the final bell and we saw, the kids and we saw the other adults and I said, my arms hurt from trying to keep them by my side because.
But it might be it might also serve as a good transition that they are in a very controlled environment with their friends where there's two of you and you're both being, they're
Right, two of
learning
us
how
will
to
help.
acclimate and keep that space.
Yeah.
It could be helpful.
That's why I
think-
want to try it as
Yeah.
a rec perspective.
And I think,
wanna
I
try
think
it.
a sign that says this program is brought to you by the Carver Recreation Department, following all, public health protocols and COVID guidelines. I think just making it very clear, like this is a sanctioned activity and we are following strict rules. And that doesn't mean we're busting loose and everything is, freewheeling. Like we are very aware. And I think that'll get parents to, they want the kids to get out of the house for crying out loud. You know what I mean? Like they want them to see each other. And it's not healthy. It's not mentally healthy for, them to be going through this either.
And I think
So
one of the things that we need to consider doing, so if people enroll, so the next step from there is that we're sending the parents the guidelines, we're sending them a letter, we're asking them to have that conversation with their child about, it's a wave, it's not a hug, that's all part of it. And that actually is in the protocols. So, keeping all of that in mind, so that conversation starts before they even get to us.
And I wouldn't
Do
be
you
able to
guys ever
run-
do it for middle school kids, the next bracket up?
Well, we would love to if they're interested in doing it. Remember, I tried to do it.
Yeah.
And that was definitely a challenge. They were not as interested in doing yoga, but absolutely. One of the other things that, as soon as I brought in the lights and made it
Some
glow, they
gimmicky
were super
things.
excited about it. So it was the glow power that got the middle schoolers into it.
She did
which
yoga at YPAC. That's what she's
Yes.
referring to. And the first few weeks she came, the kids were like, do I have to go?
Oh, as soon as I brought the lights out, they were all over it. But yeah, it was
Yeah.
funny. One of the other things Naomi and I were talking about, and I guess getting your feedback on this, was trying to offer some way doing a thing so it's like parents do yoga in one place and the kids are doing yoga in another place at the same time. Testing that out at some point. I don't know if that's something later in phase 2 when we get going. So it's sort of like if you had gone to a yoga studio, sometimes that happens. The parents can take a yoga class.
yeah, there's a
and the kids can.
simultaneous class where the
So
kids
they
are
only
busy
could
when
teach
you're busy.
adults and then I could teach the kids or vice versa. And I think that's something that people are definitely looking for. And I think people are looking to get away from each other a little bit.
I'm calling it socially distant yoga.
Just a little bit, yeah.
Socially
So,
distant from your family yoga.
Yeah.
That is something we wanted to present to you guys to think about. we don't know what outdoor spaces are available that might accommodate that. So
Well, any of our fields are big. They could definitely accommodate that. I'd like to start small.
we'll
See
do
how
the
it
kids one
goes.
first, but I want to put that bug in your ear
Yeah.
about bringing that up.
Yeah, definitely. And now that I know, we can use our fields or we can use the green in the center of town. I like the field idea better. They're
Very
not,
nice.
Where
new
else were
forest.
you thinking of?
what'd you say, Jim?
Forest Street, nice.
Yeah,
new
that's what
grass field.
that's what I was thinking.
That's
Yeah.
exactly where I
Perfect.
was going to
It's
propose.
it's all
Because the
enclosed.
fence and it's
Yep.
enclosed, that's where I was going to propose.
Is there a bathroom at any of these places or not?
No.
No.
Okay.
We were just talking about we can have porta potties delivered, but we aren't using the fields at this time. So
Right.
we haven't done the cost, but that's something that the committee can determine.
Well, that's one thing little kids always want is the bathroom.
Yeah.
So that's something that needs to be in that letter as well, is there's no bathroom, so go at home.
Yeah.
Make
I
sure
mean,
you use
after-
facilities.
After the playground opens, which will be the end of, just say, June, right? The
June.
end of June,
Yep.
just say, there
Yeah.
will be bathroom facilities there and there is a field there that we could use.
Okay.
So, but the first round, there would not be a bathroom.
Okay,
But
so in
like I
July,
said,
there would be a bathroom?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yep.
But if you have, say, 20 kids, you know, so you're running two back-to-back classes or something, we could consider getting a porta
Yeah,
potty
porta
for
potty.
Forest Street. I
Yep.
mean, that,
Sure.
Okay.
Absolutely.
One of
even
the-
for a month, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the programs we were considering to test out maybe the beginning of July is it really would be like a little yoga summer camp. It's like a 2-hour program. So in a 2-hour session, I think we would definitely have to be near a bathroom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so really it would be doing a yoga experience, a little bit thematic with a craft involved, so they could do a craft right on their own mat. And we would just have individualized bags that they could have. So, and that would be in phase 2 under the camp experience.
Yep.
You know, we could certainly put together a quick straight up yoga in the park, you know, 1-hour session.
That's what I was thinking about starting with. That was my thought. And then
Yeah.
seeing how it goes. And then this brings up to you guys, to the committee, now we talked about with the painting, we might still be able to do something like this summer, because that can be individualized painting. You know how we talked with Lauren, I believe was her name.
Yes.
So we could talk about that, something following these same protocols and lines, that we might be able to do some of those things that we had talked about this summer. I think it's going to get harder, like with tennis, like everyone's asking me, but we could do a private tennis lesson, because you just can't share any of the equipment. Everybody has to have their own individual tennis balls.
And it's
So-
weird because they did open the tennis courts. There was a
Yes, the
discussion on
tennis-
Facebook, and,
Yeah.
and they're open. But I don't know that you can play against anyone. So
No,
maybe
but
it's for your own practice.
I did get an email asking about tennis lessons, so I could reach out and we
But
could maybe
Mary,
do
you would be
private
sure to be
ones.
the best one on the court if you couldn't play with anyone.
I
That's
know.
true. That's true. But I mean,
Yeah.
if you can't share any, you know, if you
All right.
can't share the ball, I don't know how.
But Adam,
tennis
in
is open.
phase 2, Adam, you guys will be able to share baseballs, right? Or no?
Yeah, right now, the language around use of equipment is that all equipment should be individual. So things like bats, helmets, catcher's equipment, things of that nature.
You have
should
to catch
be-
the ball.
Yeah, so balls can be shared. They'd have to be swapped out every 2 innings and sanitized.
Oh,
So it'll be the type of thing where we will probably have like Lysol wipes or Clorox wipes and Clorox spray on site. We'll spray down the balls in between innings, things like that. But the catcher and pitcher will be exchanging the ball back and forth without it being
Yeah.
clean. But we'll only use them for 2 innings, and then we'll cycle in new balls.
Because
and
I
we'll-
was just trying to think, maybe I'll have to look up what tennis is, because that was a
We'll
program.
have to
I wanted to do this
sanitize one of
summer.
those fuzzy ones.
I know.
Yeah, absorb, yeah, right, absorb.
weird.
Honestly, I
We
think
have a
something
million.
like a Lysol spray is going to be the best option.
Yeah.
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 We have a million tennis balls. I mean, the closet's full down in the town hall, so.
If
that's
you
something.
can find the Lysol spray.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
True.
That's your job, Ellen.
All right.
So that kind of brings me to the committee, back to circle back. So my idea is to try to follow the guidelines the best as possible, try to run a few summer programs if possible, because I don't want to lose the momentum that we all have worked, and myself included, have worked so hard to gain. I've been approached by so many things to do, you know, flag football camp. I've been approached to do tennis. I was approached to do, training and yoga and so many things. But I think in art, I think we need to bring it down. But I think this would be a great start, if you ask me, is to
Yeah.
try this one yoga thing, you know, and
Baby
it's,
steps.
It's baby steps for me too, because it's going to be a lot more work to set up a program than it was in the past, because all those things that you're talking about, Terry, and that's why I'd like to work with you guys, because being teachers and the guidelines, like helping with those letters and things, like this is all going to be new, but I want to make sure we're following all those guidelines. So working with you guys would be a nice way to start the beginning for
yeah,
me.
we'd be happy to help with that too. I mean, I've been combing it over every time. I look every day. As soon as something comes out, I print it out. I'm like,
Yeah.
ready to go, because we miss being with the kids so
Yeah.
much. It's
Emily,
like,
do you get the text message updates, or do you get those alerts whenever
I
he's?
don't. I should.
Oh.
I just go on and have been
Yeah.
scrolling through it.
Sometimes it's multiple times a day.
Yeah. I do work another job too, so I hate
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
So should,
it's a little
Emily,
much.
should the committee try and, do we want to try and give you a response? I mean, I think the argument really is can we test this safely? And you've got two very experienced educators that are experienced. I mean, obviously no one's experienced with COVID, but you know, you're already experienced with the
Jim, you need to
protocols,
shave.
child safety, different efforts that you've had to put in
Right.
place in the school system, you know, with other situations. I think this is probably, if we are going to test anything, we're in an ideal situation to test
Yes,
I agree.
with Naomi and Terry.
I agree.
and I don't
That's
think
why
it
I wanted to
requires
do
a
it.
vote, but I think it would be nice to give them a vote of our confidence and support.
Yeah, like I said, I've never came to you guys with every single thing I've run, but we're in a different scenario now.
Yeah, I
So,
totally agree, Emily. I'm thrilled you did, because I think when you first introduced it, I thought, how does that work? But it sounds like we've vetted pretty much everything we could possibly vet to ensure that we're taking all the precautions. I think it's a situation that can be controlled. I thought about trying to offer something like this for my little soccer players. The second I hand them a ball, I'm not going to be able to control them. So I think this is a scenario. It's just the way it is. But I think the point of the way you've talked about setting up the mats, stepping into the lava, I think you're going to be within a couple of inches, not a couple of inches, but within a couple of feet, should you have to intervene. And I think it's a
There's
pretty
also
safe
two of
environment.
us. I think that makes a difference too. And the other thing is the kids know that, well, one, they know us as teachers, so that's a little different than moms, But another thing is that they are accustomed to me spraying down their mats before they leave too. So I think that's something that, they can share with that they're another insurance that we share with the parents is that we spray down the mats. And I think
most of the ones have probably done a class with you. So I feel like this is a great way to start. It's something Rec's already been behind from day one,
Yeah.
And to your point, Naomi, some of the stuff that you talked about doing is going to be a good introduction to them as to how to handle themselves once
in
they
other activities.
When you go back to the new norm.
Yep. Right. I agree.
I think on all levels, it's an ideal way to kickstart back. Emily, I'm in complete agreement.
Okay. But one of the things I'd like to do is to reach out, which I would need just to let you guys know. I would like to, I don't know if you ladies have a thermometer, but I would like Rec to purchase one. And I also would like us to get some signs prior to our first class.
I don't have one of I don't have the kind that's the no touch.
Yes.
I have
one.
Okay. Oh, you do?
Yeah, the one that you hold over the forehead. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I could at least get us started. Yeah.
Yeah, I would like Rec to purchase a no touch thermometer, and I would like us to purchase signage that says this is a Rec event being run, COVID policies followed or whatever we need to decide we want to put on it. But I would like to have those in place. And I know Signs by Design could probably turn around something very quick for us.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
So Emily, moving forward, if people are agreeing that we can move forward with this, and we want to do a tester, could we potentially set this up so we're doing like our after school yoga, like Thursday afternoon kind of thing?
Yeah. So you and I can work on that, but I think we should
Okay.
post it and charge and do like what we normally would, because we'll be setting a precedent. So I know you guys have been doing some free stuff, but I think we should set a precedent to charge and to make it a program.
We've been running the same. What we did is we took the after school yoga and did it for free on Zoom. So we did that through the end of May.
Yeah.
But
really
and
only
I think
because we kind of felt like, people were at a loss, and we knew the kids were scared. We knew the parents were scared. So we just kind of said, whoever shows up, and we
were ready to get
clear that it
offline.
was only through May. We were clear it was only through May. And I think 1 week we didn't have anybody come, and One week
Yeah.
we had one. We've had about, 4 to 6 kids come regularly, but honestly, I think it was more about that we wanted them to know we were okay, and we wanted
Yeah.
to see that they were okay. So
Yeah. So we can set up the details. We
Okay.
don't have to do it through the meeting. You and I
Right.
can talk. And we can even do a quick conference call, the 3 of us, and set up the details. But I definitely think it should be a charged, and maybe even like started off like a 3-4 week, whatever thing, or I don't know. We can talk about that.
Yeah.
You guys, I always take the direction you have, but I think it should be an event and charged, and we start out and see what happens.
Yeah, we'll keep it a few weeks and just to test the
Yeah.
waters, I think. But
Yeah.
I agree. Test it out. And
Yeah.
that way
Thanks,
we're not
girls.
refunding anyone.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So Emily,
Thank you.
we'll touch base.
Yeah.
thanks for your
Okay.
time, everybody. It was good to see you guys.
Thank
Good to
you.
see you.
Bye, Mary. Bye, Emily.
So other than Nikki, does anyone oppose? I know you're for it, Nikki and Mary, but is anyone opposed to it, or you guys think it's
Oh,
good?
that's
No, I
sounds
think it's
wonderful.
fun. It's
Okay.
great.
Fine with it.
All right.
I want to do it.
I know.
Yeah.
I
I
think
think-
there's going to be a lot more outdoor things that we can do. Like, just looking at some of the things for September for our Even Go Gold, we're looking at outdoor activities. But I think that this would be a good start for us to try. And there might even be an outdoor adult something we can run,
Yeah.
This is a good starting, and working with those ladies, they just really give me the direction that I think they help with the direction. So
Emily, I would say schedule whatever you can that stays within the state guidelines.
yeah. Thank you. I agree.
As much as you can do outside, the better, because everybody's gonna be chomping at the bit to have their kids do something. I mean, school's
know.
out in what, 2 weeks? And
Yeah.
they're gonna be looking to do something just to get them out, fresh air. Parents can stay in the parking lot, it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
I think they're underestimating. I think they're gonna have a lot of people sign up.
Absolutely.
I do too. And do you guys, if you think of anything else like this that you can, we'll start with this one, but I'm sure once I have the letter and everything done, it will be easier.
Well, I was just thinking while we were doing this, that since like gyms are still not open, I remember that USA was trying to have a commitment with us.
Yeah.
Was it last year?
Yeah.
And we've done some things together. But I wonder if 1 or 2 of their trainers would want to do outdoor adult classes.
Yeah. I'll reach out after. Yeah.
Tammy,
It was
Tammy
Tammy
used
that
to,
came.
I
Yeah.
used to go to Tammy's boot camp, and it was all outside.
That's what I was thinking of. Yeah.
Yeah. And she
I
actually
loved it.
came to the
It was
rec
called
meeting.
Cardio Sport.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, she did.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm
So
sure
yeah.
we all-
So that's
We all
a good
agree
one.
you want to stay away from the center field, the baseball fields, right? You're not going to schedule anything for those.
Oh, right. No, we
Yeah.
won't go there. No.
No,
I think this is a good use for Forest Street.
I was going to do
Right.
Forest,
Perfect.
and I was going to ask Dave to make sure it's mowed.
And if we're going to put a porta potty there, we might as well have to put out one instead of several in different spots.
Yeah.
And I think Forest is a great place because it's fenced in, the parking lot's defined. You have
Yep.
to enter in the fence,
Right.
and we're not using it, so I really think we should.
Yeah.
Do you guys agreement that would be the best place?
I agree.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I
I
say on
will
public television that my husband's the greatest thing in the world? Look at this dinner.
Oh, that's
Oh.
amazing. So I will email Dave and let him know that we're going to use Forest Street. And would you guys like to put a porta potty there? Or we
I
want to
think
do
so.
this?
I think you have to, yeah.
Yeah, you have
If
Yeah.
we're going to start scheduling stuff there, then go ahead, put one there.
Okay,
Yep.
so we'll put one there, and that's where we'll do our stuff for right now.
Yeah.
I didn't write that down. You said 4th Street?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
And I'm going
Okay.
to ask Dave to make sure that's on the Mo list and that we will want a porta potty there at this time.
Is,
And
now, does
Emily,
Dave, sorry,
do you want to
Mary,
reach out
just-
to Tammy or do you want me to?
I kind of want to just work with Terry and Naomi for
Okay.
a couple days. I don't want to
Okay.
overwhelm myself. I know it sounds silly, but
No, it's not silly at all.
I want to make sure we follow all the rules.
Understood.
Yep.
Very
Well,
clearly.
yeah, the other thing is too, the gyms might be open in phase 2. I know they're fighting for that.
I
So
know
you
they
have to
are.
kind of play that by ear as well.
Yeah.
Because I know they've been doing a lot of online training or
Yeah.
what do you call it, virtual training. So they're
Yeah.
gonna be looking to do their own, but it can't hurt to
But
do it
they-
outside.
But there honestly might be people still who would like to do it outside regardless of whether or not
definitely.
the gym's open,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think they still want to do it. You're right.
Could be
Yeah.
different clientele.
Yep.
Absolutely. So I think that's where we'll start. I'll maybe, Mary, if you want to reach out to get the signs, that would be awesome.
Okay,
Or anyone on the committee that way. And he just needs to he hasn't filled one out with us, but he's going to need to fill out a W-9
oh,
to
W-9,
pay
okay.
him. Yep. So if he needs us to drop it off, we can, or he can go online and fill it out. But he can fill it out, and then when he creates the signs for the playground and the signs, he can submit one bill and we can pay it all.
Okay, and I was thinking of the wording in the event that COVID disappears,
Yep.
but that we're not wasting the sign. Do we want something along the lines, this is a Carver Recreation sponsored event which follows all health and safety regulations, something like that?
That works.
So if it's,
Yeah.
you know, with some of the other potential
Well, it could be
disasters that
triple
could
E.
happen in 2020.
Yeah, it could be triple E sign, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So not being specific, but
Yeah.
declaring that we're following all guidelines.
Yep.
Okay, all right.
Mary, instead of Carver Recreation sponsored to, I think it was Emily that just said it, even triple E, Carver Recreation approved,
Okay,
Or
Or
Carver Recreation event.
sanctioned,
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
say that again?
sanctioned.
Okay,
Because it's really our event. They're just working for us, just so you know.
yes,
Because we're paying them, so they're an outside contractor working for us. It's a recreation event. So I don't
Right.
know.
so we want to say this is a
No.
Carver Recreation
Or you could just
sanctioned,
put,
or just have Carver Recreation sanctioned event.
yeah.
And then some verbiage below it to
Yep.
say,
Yeah.
following all Board of Health, state Board of Health guidelines, whatever.
Yeah. And
Okay.
he could probably make them as like lawn signs, I'm
Yeah.
guessing. And then I think we should get a couple.
Yeah,
And then I'll look into a thermometer. I just think it'd be good if we purchased one.
Definitely.
I definitely think so.
I have a feeling we're gonna need it.
Yeah. They have them on Amazon, I'm sure?
I think so, but I was gonna ask the town hall too, do they have them, or are they needing them for anything, or I don't know, so.
Yeah, or does Board of Health get them as a discount somewhere?
Yeah, so I'll ask around about that tomorrow.
Yeah,
And then I will continue to work with baseball and men's softball league for any stuff that they're gonna go. We also could put even signs out with that, just so people know,
yeah. Do
Um,
you think there are, so maybe we should get 4 of those signs just to
that would
have.
be great.
So if there's a baseball game or a softball thing, have you heard anything from the women's softball league?
I have not, but I haven't reached out yet because that would be phase 3. So, but I haven't heard.
Okay,
But I will reach out. The other thing is then we'll start in the upcoming meetings, not tonight, we've been on here too long. We'll start talking about summer and fall. So, but
okay.
just you guys, I thought this was a good way for me to start a program this summer. I don't know what we'll be able to offer. I had so many great ideas and so many things lined up, but it's a good way to start.
Yeah.
Emily, great job.
Thank you. Thank you.
Very good. Good job.
Before we all say goodnight, Ellen has something she wants to share.
Yes, I want to thank you all because you've been terrific. I'm stepping down at the end of the month. I've been voted in as a alternate on the planning board, and I think that will take a lot of time and learning a lot of things. It's been an amazing adventure with you guys. I've learned so much. I felt like I haven't really added much to it. You guys are all so astute in what you're talking about. Sometimes I felt like, I wish there was something I could say positive or help out, but I've grown close to each and every one of you, and thank you all for being there and accepting me as someone that doesn't really know what you guys are talking about half the time, but I would go home and look it up, and my knowledge has increased, immensely. So thank you guys. It's been great. I hope you get somebody in that really understands these things, because they will be.
Hey, we
they
fooled you.
will
We don't
add-
exactly understand any of it.
No,
Okay,
I
well,
agree
you
with
did a good job of fooling me there, guys. The other thing I was talking to Mary about earlier was, I'd like to see some kind of a plaque or something, because, not me so much, but all you guys worked so hard on everything, the playground, and it's amazing. And I think with the naysayers looking at it and saying, why did they make such a big stink out of everything? Because this is beautiful and it's amazing. And I'm so grateful to each and every one of you to be part of that. It makes me feel so wonderful from the inside out. And I'm hoping that we can just, put some plaque somewhere on a bench, on a table, that this amazing job was done by this wonderful recreation department in, the year. And I don't know, that's about all I can think of. And hopefully that's a positive suggestion, because I don't think I've had many of them. But anyways, I've learned a lot. And it was a great way to step into learning more about this great town of ours. And I want to do things for the town, and I don't feel like I'm, that I could have added anything to this, because you guys are all so good. There is nothing that I could have done personally to add to all your hard work and knowledge of everything that's going on. So thank you from the bottom of my heart to all of you, and we'll certainly see you around. And I'm grateful to have been part of you. For you,
Well, I hope you come
all
back and
accept
face
me.
paint.
Yes, I will. I promise. And I'll get better at it, because it wasn't so great. But yeah, I am gonna, pay attention more to some art things I wanted to get done. And it's been an amazing experience. I've been so proud to tell people that I was part of it, even though in the back of my mind I was thinking, well, what did I really do? And it was nothing but listen. I'm a good listener. But
Hey, we're all wondering what we did.
yeah, well, you all are amazing people, and I've known some of you for a while, and it's just a great group of people to be involved with. So thank you all.
Thank
I
you,
do. I
Ellen.
love you, and
Thank
I
you,
only
Ellen.
wish the best. And the town is in great hands in their recreation committee with all of you, because you are all so amazing. And vote for Jim Hoffman. Woo, woo, woo.
Go for Jim Hoffman.
Write him in.
Thank you, Ellen.
Good.
Yes,
Thanks,
you.
Ellen.
Alan.
Thank
And
you.
good luck to you.
Thank you
luck in
so
the planning.
much.
Good luck in the
Thank you.
planning board.
Thank you. I think I'm going to need it, but it's very interesting, and I'll see you all around town.
Yes, you will.
Thank
See
you.
you at the ribbon cutting ceremony.
Yes,
Yes, you have to
absolutely.
come to
Yes.
That would be a blast. And
Yeah.
Mary, I'll see you walking around, and
Yeah.
we'll chat. And I wish you all the best, and stay safe and healthy, and hopefully this will all pass, and we'll just be a cleaner society. That's what I keep thinking. Oh my God, it's wonderful. Everybody's really being clean and wiping and this and that. It's so.
Yeah.
Thank you from the
Thank
bottom
you.
of my heart. I'm
Thank
giving
you,
you a
Thank you,
virtual
Ellen.
hug, all of you. Okay, group
Yeah.
hug. And here's a kiss. And if you ever have a question I can answer, certainly call me. I don't know
Yeah.
how good I'll be, but I'll give you my opinion.
No,
Thank you, Ellen. Thank you.
Okay.
We appreciate it.
All right, be well, all of you.
Anyone else have anything else they need to add? Ellen's a
Not
tough
me.
act to follow.
Oh, thank you, Mary. So I did that well anyway.
We may need to
Yeah.
recruit you for fundraising activities.
I'll be happy to be there.
Yeah, yes.
I will volunteer my services anytime for that.
Oh, so good.
We're all set?
We're all
All
set.
set.
All right. Look at
7:58.
that, 8 o'clock,
I'm,
Nick.
I'll make a
I
motion
love
to
it.
adjourn.
I'm
second.
flabbergasted that this ended on time, but okay, we're good.
All in favor?
Bye.
Aye.
Hey, nice job tonight, Em.
Oh, thank you.
Good
And
job.
by the way, was that your little rooster you were eating? You were showing. I was getting a little nervous because he stopped crowing. So where is
I
it?
figured out how to mute this.
Oh,
We had 9 roosters, and right before COVID hit, we processed all but one, and we thought we kept the quieter, prettier, calm one, and he's psycho, absolutely psycho, loudest
love
one we've
them.
ever had.
I love them. I love them to pieces.
I'm gonna eat him.
No, you better not.
All right, good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Good
Thank
night.
you,
Everybody.
everyone.
Thank
night.
you.
Bye.
Thanks.
Thank you, Area 58.
Oh, thank you, Area 58. Yeah.